Hello everybody and welcome back to Exploring a Call of Duty multiplayer map. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Modern Warfare 3 launch map. So the map we're going to be taking a look at today is the launch map Fallen, which is a derelict Russian ghost town, great for careful tactical engagements. So, this is the Modern Warfare 3 launch map Fallen, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this map today is because this is a very nostalgic map for me, as it is the first Modern Warfare 3 map that I ever played on. So let's just go around the map, taking a look at this classic map in Modern Warfare 3, and interestingly enough, I believe this map has never been remade, along with a handful of maps from this game, and I feel that this map has a lot of very interesting flows of gameplay, and it's quite underrated. So here we have one of the major spawn points on this side of the map, and obviously the other side in the other corner of the map, which would be in the bottom right of the screen right there, is where the enemy team would spawn. And now that is the spawn that I remember spawning at more often than not. But let's take a look at how this map operates, because it's definitely that traditional Infinity Ward, non-linear, sort of do anything you want to kind of map, not the traditional Treyarch 3-lane structure. So on this side, what we have here is a very interesting little corner of the map, because there's lots of foliage here, and I remember this as being one of the areas that people actually traveled to very infrequently. I don't remember many people coming to this corner of the map or camping very often over here, mostly because anyone could be here, and I think that kind of gave a psychological effect of, well, if there is somebody camping in a bush, I don't want to be killed by them. So it's sort of caused people to avoid this corner of the map entirely, which is very interesting. So obviously here we have one of the many lanes of the map. Now obviously, because it's Infinity Ward, it's not the traditional 3-lane structure, it sort of has a circular design around the center area right here. So this is where all of the main actions taking place around this sort of general vicinity here, around this main building, and then through this right here, one of the cut through areas. And it's all based around this lap right here. This is where all the main action is. And despite there being a lot of vehicles and cover placements on this side of the map, again, not many people really had a lot of gunfights or engagements on this side, as far as I remember. Most of the action began around here. This is where one of the first engagements would be, around this this iconic, dare I say, trash pile, because the enemies would spawn from that side of the map and they'd flow down in through here. So a lot of the engagements really stem from either coming up to this right here, crouching down, maybe getting some head glitches, shooting into the center of the map there. But usually when somebody tries to sneak in and get a free kill from somebody running into the center of the map, that's when they get taken out from somebody coming around from this side. So it's very advantageous for you to get to this trash pile first and get the high ground, get the drop on anyone who's coming in from that side of the map. So now let's sweep around to this side. Now, this is one of the interesting hallways. It's very dark, and remember, this is one of the interesting cut-through areas. There's lots of buildings on this map that have lines that just cut right through them into the center of the map, and it's a very common thing for Infinity Ward to have a bunch of extra lanes, but all the lanes here provide an easy access to the center of the map. Like this lane right here, this is where a lot of the major fighting goes on in there, because anyone who's coming in from this angle would definitely either run over to the trash pile or they'd cut through right here, because if you're going to be running over here, you know you're going to be engaging somebody coming from this side. So cutting through in the center of the buildings there is a major help, especially when it comes to getting to objectives faster, because the flag is going to be towards the center of the map. So if you spawn over here on this side, running through here, this is one of the major areas that lead into the center of the map, which is where, again, a lot of the main fighting takes place. Now, this is the other spawn on this side of the map, and I remember spawning here way more often than on the other side of the map. And usually the first thing that players would do is they'd either run down that alleyway there to engage somebody on the trash pile, or they would run up through this building. Because, again, if you're running through here, coming this way, you're exposed from that little wall or head glitch over there. Or if you're running this way, you're exposed from another second story position that we'll get to in just a minute. So running in here, we have one of the most traveled through buildings in all of Modern Warfare 3. This isn't a place that people would usually stay for very long, but they definitely run through here very quickly, and especially when it comes to flanking on this map, this building has so much high traffic action going through it, especially coming out right here. Another cut through, as we see, to the center of the map, because every single building on all four corners here has a cut through to the center of the map. And we'll get to the center of the map a little bit later because it's a very interesting dynamic with that. So again, this is one of the outer corners, a lot of flanking area right here. Now this is another very high traffic action area and another major cut through right here when it comes to getting to objectives. If you're flanking from that side of the map and you want to get to the objective quickly, this is the pathway you would take. Everything leads in from all four corners, leads into this center area right here. Now, this is one of the major hard point positions, one of the major flag positions as well. And it's very interesting because you have this wall and sort of some cover on this side right here from aerial kill streaks for people that are trying to look here. There's lots of foliage. So it's funny because you're actually more protected when you're in this area than you are running along on the outskirts, because there's basically no obstructions and all the lines of sight are very clear. But if you're here in the center right here, the second story position that we'll get to in just a minute, you have this foliage, you have the awnings. There's lots of cover from this side of the map, a lot of protection from this side. And if you're coming in from over here, you're going to be trying to get into this position. It's not as easy as it is for this side to get in, because you have the big opening wall right here, and there's two different pathways that lead directly into this center building. So if you spawn on the Spetsnaz side, it's not as easy to take this center position as it is for the other team. Now moving back over here on this side, we have the main second story building. And I remember a lot of action comes because this is the most important power position on the entire map, because it overlooks the entirety of this lane right here. It overlooks that second story position, which overlooks the other spawns. So if you control this, you control the entire center of the map right here, because if somebody's camping in the center building right there, they can't get you out of the second story window. They're going to have to expose themselves and put themselves in the line of fire. And there's only one feasible way to get up here, and that's to come up one of the two different staircases. Because once you're in here, when people get up into this power position, it was very, very difficult to get them out. The only way to do so would be to lob a grenade launcher from down there into this ceiling right here to get them out. But other than that, this is a very big power position, because if you come right over around here, you have an entire line of sight here and here. And just poking your head out on this side, you have a pretty much a huge lay of the land when it comes to this side of the entire map. So this is one of the biggest power positions in all of Modern Warfare 3. I mean, people talk about the terminal power position. This building right here is huge. And if somebody has a trophy system and some claymores, it's going to be very, very difficult to get them out of this this power position. And obviously they have the drop down right here. And we have, this is what I like to call the care package area, because I remember anytime anyone would ever want to call in a care package, they would run behind this building over here. Now this is actually, it's very smart, because if you're back here, you have complete unobstruction on either side of this building. There's no cover. So if you manage to get back here and manage to, throw out down a care package around this corner here and having it come down, nobody's going to want to push through here, because you have the advantage. You have the the cover, you have the know that someone's going to be coming down this alleyway. So this is the major area that everyone would call in their care packages or their kill streaks, and it's a very interesting dynamic because if this was a Treyarch map, for example, like this wall would be cut off right here, and this would be cut off right here. This extra lane wouldn't even exist, but it's like a little bucket, a little bit of protection for people calling in their kill streaks, which is a very good thing because normally people are flanking around to the different spawn points to try to get around and to get to the power positions, but nobody's really coming over to here unless they're calling in kill streaks. And then circling back over here on this side, we have another very forgotten power position, which is a very small little window that overlooks this lane right here that the other power position cannot look over. I remember this is one of the more infrequent places that people wouldn't really travel to right here very much, but you have a line of sight down this window right here. So it's very useful, and it's very interesting. Again, this is one of the rooms that I remember people not spending much time at all. This building actually kind of gets forgotten a lot on this map because everyone is going to be running to this power position right here. Now, this is if you are working on getting domination flags taken, or if you're working on a hard point, this right here, full lay of the land. Every single bit, almost of the entire map can be seen from this position right here. But with this much power, you know, you have so many ways of countering it. You have the window over there, you have that doorway down there, you have the hallway there, you have somebody, and I remember so many people would jump off of that position when they were in trouble into this corner right here. Now, this is one of the most camped in corners. I remember so many people would place tack inserts because if you're spawning in right here, you now have direct line in there. You now have a quick way of cutting through this building right here. You now have a straight shot of running towards the center position right here. There's so many like little grooves in this center courtyard area that people can hide in and jump into. This is like the tack insert heaven right here because there's so many quick ways of jumping into the action and so many ways of getting to where you need to go. Again, if this was a Treyarch map, all these little corners and buckets would be closed off. But again, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer to an extent did their maps a little bit differently. And this is one of the maps that, because there's so many main pathways around that flow around the map, and you have these areas that cut through here, it pretty much directs all of the action into this center area right here. And there's a power position right above it. And again, another little bucket right here that you can hide from. Because if people are in these power positions, there's got to be some way to counter it. And there's so many ways to counter it all over the map. So that was me taking a look and exploring the map Fallen in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and comment down other Modern Warfare 3 maps that I should take a look at.